Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. Moon Knight episode 2. There's things. There's things.
It's a lot of
There's
Egyptian
things. Okay. Before we start, check out the website www.iheartgeekshow.com. Buy a shirt, do all the stuff. Comment on below wherever you are, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook or whatever. Comment, tell us what you think of this, and tell us some of your catches for Moon Knight.
Full of crap, please feel free to also correct us.
Because Dub always is. It's one of those things. Yep. Speaking of Dub, I'm Dub. I'm here.
That's my job.
I'm here with Kevin. I'm here with Tyler. There. Sorry. This thing's backwards.
And we are the Hollowood Squares.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Anyway.
Marblewood Squares.
We're going to be a touch more organized last week. Now, before we start, we know we caused a little confusion last week.
Sorry.
I.e. the personality thing. So I want to wrap this up in a real easy, quick bow. It's going to take us like 10 seconds just to kind of explain. We have two personalities so far in the show, but each of those personalities have identities. Like Bruce Wayne has Batman. That makes 4 1 and 1. Mm-hmm. So with simple math, it's a lot easier to understand Moon Knight, because I know we were confusing a little bit last week. I just wanted to kind of clear that up. We're dealing with two personalities in the same person, and we're dealing with Kanju, who isn't necessarily a part of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
he is. I hope
Kanju's
that
just a
deity. A little bit. He's just a deity who
he's the puppet master. We'll call him the puppet master.
Yes, he influences. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it to scene 1. Steven wakes up hoping it was all a dream. Perhaps when he sees the mirror and Mark isn't answering. Yay! This might have just been a thing. And then scene 2 happens and they go to the museum and it wasn't a thing. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump right into. I don't think there's anything we really need to hit in scene 1, or am I missing something, Courtney? In scene 1, just that first scene when he wakes up and walks through his sand and realizes maybe none of this happened. He knows it happened, but
no. I have nothing. I have nothing for that other than but yeah, the stuff I have is later on.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. Okay,
when we get to the museum.
Okay, based on that.
Okay,
he's after the events at the end of the first episode. He wakes up, sand's nice and clean. He's latched to his pole. Do you think it's Mark putting him in bed, going ahead and securing him, grading the sand, all that? Or do you think Steven's doing it because he always wakes up, checks the tape and everything, but he's suddenly waking up?
Or is it another personality that we don't know? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
we'll talk about that later.
It's a possibility.
There's a possibility.
The three of us have a little something to talk about.
I wanted to throw a little lighter fluid on there.
So you think it's Steven setting up the whole bedtime routine, or you think it's Mark?
Well, my thought on that is that Mark is trying to keep Steven from knowing what's going on. Because if Steven knows what's going on, well, we see what happens when he figures out what's going on as he tries to fight him. And so he's trying to keep Steven not aware. Listen, it's all a dream. It's fine here. Look, your sand's okay. Oh, crap, you went to work today and they have cameras. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's trying to keep him in his place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So let's jump on to scene 2, and that's the museum. 2 points I want to make, and then you guys are going to go crazy. So upon seeing the videotape, according to anybody's eyes, the Moon Knight world looks like a delusion. None of this actually happened, because he's throwing himself around. He goes, maybe this is in my mind. Maybe he is just crazy. And I think that's an important note to it. And I know there's a reason why he was all the stuff was invisible, but I think it's interesting to keep Steven a little bit. Well, maybe this isn't happening, because when I saw it on the video, it didn't actually happen. I think that's that's done by the directors on purpose. And and then the other thing that I want to mention, and then you guys can go crazy. By far, the kindest firing in the history of firing.
Yes, it was.
Said, we got to let you go, but we want to get you help. I know it's an HR thing to say, you don't work for us anymore, but we want to get you help, and we're going to pay for it just because
there's a reason
you need
for that.
help.
Yeah, it's the most HR firing ever. Absolutely ever. But Courtney, you had mentioned something a couple days ago about the eye of Khonshu. Can you? Because as soon as you said that, like my whole world was open up to why they're invisible and stuff like that.
Yeah. What it is in the comics, and as I watch this episode, I feel this is probably where they're going. When Mark or Steven assumes an identity of whether it be Mr. Knight or Moon Knight, what happens for him is he can see things that are there that are part of what's referred to as New Egypt.
There it is. Yeah.
So, like he can see Khonshu, he can see the jackals. Hopefully when we're in these Cairo scenes where we get to at the end of this episode, we'll see more of that as well. Yeah. And like in lots of times, and in the comics specifically, like if there is, if there's a god or something, everybody else will see that person as a person, but Mark or Steven Moon Knight will see that person as whatever their jackal-headed persona or someone, whatever it is, he will see it that way. And the world around him looks like New Egypt. It doesn't actually look like the world that he's in. Now, they don't go as far in this, but I think that's why. Because we know, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but like with the jackal, we know the jackal was there. We know it was real. It's not really a delusion.
No, I mean she smashes that bottle of liquid.
Yeah,
on
but
its
that's
head,
save it. Well, we're gonna get to it. We try to keep this in order.
That's how it works. Is when he has the suit on and the eyes start to glow, he views the world as New Egypt.
Yeah, right.
And he sees these things everybody else can't see.
But again, do you feel like that might be a decision by the filmmakers so that he can think he's crazy for a little while longer?
Yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's written that way.
And
because he doesn't know what's going on.
I think it's a great, no matter what he hears.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is they're also in the first half before he actually meets Mark.
Yeah.
He's always filmed between two things. So like he's filmed between big, gigantic columns. When he's in the HR office, if you see behind him there's two lamps and he's dead center in it because he himself is trapped between two worlds
with the walls. Yeah, that which does get mentioned soon.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is in the HR manager's, first off, he's going to end up in an asylum, and that's where the doctors come in.
Yeah,
there's also there's a comic book character that I will be happy to help tell everybody about. If you want to, just hit me up on Facebook, and I will, because I don't want to delve too deep into comic book lore. But the other thing that was really interesting to me, on the HR manager's desk, there's a statue on the corner of his desk. It's actually the statue of Sobek, who's a crocodile-headed god. Why that one?
Good catch.
And why? I had to pause that.
People at the museum are, they probably all got tattoos.
Yeah, it's and I mean, it's very possible. Maybe maybe the HR was part of it, and that's why Steven was allowed to float away like he was.
Which does bring me to something, and I will get to that in a minute in like 3 scenes. But there's something I didn't even put in my notes because I really want to hit this because this is going to blow your all's mind. But we'll save it. Okay, let's go to scene 3. Here comes Layla. This isn't just the Layla scene, but this is the lead up to Layla. Okay, so let's start with the storage place. The storage lights creep me out. It's the exact same light effect they do. If you watch Morbius, it's the same effect they do when a person gets killed by someone. You can figure
one other
out.
Person knows what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's 8 people that watched Morbius. But it's the exact same effect, and it is so effective. And I'm like, yeah, this is the Marvel universe. They definitely got that same little weird light effect. They walk to one and it shuts off, and walk to the next one and it shuts off. Like,
I like the sound too. It's a very heavy boom. boom, which comes into play later on.
I didn't like that sound because it wasn't accurate, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It kind of bugged me.
I know what you mean.
I get it, but
hey, Tyler, tell us about the QR code and number 43.
Yeah. If you notice in the first episode and this episode, there is a QR code that pops up. Apparently it actually links to Marvel and a free comic of Moon Knight, or Werewolf by Night. First appearance of Moon Knight.
That's the first episode. This one's different.
This one, it was Courtney, you looked up this one, what issue it led to. I had noticed that the number 43 was right next to episode 2's QR code. The number 43 linking to another comic issue of basically where Moon Knight ends up battling doppelgangers of like Daredevil and Black Knight in a bit of a Infinity War crossover. So I found that kind of interesting. How that's going to connect later on, I don't know. Maybe shed some light on that.
So when you see those QR codes, pause it and look it up on your phone, and you get free stuff.
Yep.
Free comics.
I think that's a great thing to do. This is something the Marvel Universe has definitely messed up in the past. They haven't gotten the normies to watch or to get into comic books. This is the way to do it. This is smart.
Yeah. They tried referencing issues in past series like Falcon and stuff like that. Little numbers. You had to really be searching for that stuff, and you had to go watch videos. Yeah. This way, it's like, here, just put a QR code on the TV. People will scan it. Let's get them into reading the comic book, because the source material is usually 10 times better if you really delve in and go through the whole universe. You're just getting a snippet of it.
Okay. And the storage space on the inside of it. Tell me that did not look like a leftover set from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
A little bit.
I thought it looked exactly. I'm like, it's the same set designer, isn't it? And I didn't look, but I would bet money that it is the same set designer, because it is exactly like the Falcon and Winter.
I like the touch of not every surface. It was foggy. Not every surface was super reflective.
It was a great
he wants to keep that reflection away while he's in there. I thought that was kind of neat.
So I thought the reflection of Mark in the gun was extra creepy.
Oh, that was creepy, yeah.
And I think this is really the first time that you really get Mark and Steven conversating. I think without, Mark has a ability to just tell you what to do, but this was a lot more conversating than before.
So every time he's actually talking to Mark, or Mark's talking to Steven or whatnot, I always try to picture like what it is if somebody is looking at him, they can't hear the other voice. Like in the future, we're not going to get, in the next couple episodes, even with like the fight scene and the different conversations where he's smashing a mirror. And it's no wonder that everybody thinks he's crazy. It's no wonder that even he's starting to feel like he's spiraling out of control. Oh my God. I just found this storage thing with a gun, and oh my God, I have my own passport. That looks like me. A great shot, and I didn't mention it when we were in the museum, but the great shot was whenever he was looking at himself in with the security guard, and he goes, "That's not me," because we know how we walk, we know how we talk.
And what's interesting about that is, if you watch, this is a testament to Oscar Isaac's acting ability. He physically changes the way that he holds himself.
It's Superman
when Mark is in control.
Reeves. Yeah. Christopher Reeves used to do the same thing.
So because with that scene, Kevin, you see him on screen, and he's clearly Mark. It's the way he walks, is the way he's standing, the way he looks at the camera.
Yeah.
And then we cut to where he's Steven, and he looks like an entirely different person facially because of the way.
Absolute.
And
perfect.
that's.
I want to say this.
Wicked
because I forgot to mention it, but I don't know if when he looked at Mark in that camera, he's like, oh, that's different. And then you see Steven again. Steven looks a little different than Steven.
Yeah, that's what
moment.
He physically
No. I'm not talking Mark and Steven look different. Steven no longer looks like Steven.
Yeah. It was like a shift there.
It was a little shift that it's almost like he let some of him in, but not much.
Yeah, he physically changes, which is just phenomenal acting.
Okay. And then we get
Scotty.
Then we get the Khonshu backstory. All the scary from Khonshu goes away as soon as he talks. I'm like,
I have to agree.
It's like seeing Freddy Krueger and then hey guys, how you doing?
I have to say though,
I think it does a great job, but it's so not scary.
The design is straight from the comic, and he looks so cool.
So detailed.
He looks fantastic, but the voice, and I think the voice is brilliant, but honestly, it makes it a little bit easier for a kid to have a palate for.
It hit me in the first episode when he woke up and he's talking to him. I'm like, well, hold on.
I think part of it is the way he speaks, like the lines they give him, because we kind of expect him to be like Odin-ish or, very do as I say.
Very normal guy.
And he's saying things like,
it's because he's a jerk.
Crush his windpipe. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't really kill him. Do it now. I mean, it's like, I think we expect this giant, just heavily detailed, scary as hell character
big booming voice.
Things like, and I mean, it is a big booming voice, but it's like he's saying things different. Like,
it's
go
friendly.
to the market. You know what I mean? It's not, I think it's the line.
It's like a children's television show.
Yeah, I think it's the lines. But I mean, maybe that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to disconcert us a little bit, because the whole point of the show is everybody's kind of kept off kilter. So I mean, maybe that was why they did it the way they did it.
Well, okay, and I shouldn't be jumping ahead, but I got to say this just because you said that. When he says, "Oh, he's like a 2-year-old," he likes to have tantrums sometimes, and we'll get to that in a minute. But with him saying that, that's really kind of what it's like. It's like a child with an adult voice, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, now going back, so we finally meet Layla, and he's married. They're married.
Layla has perfect timing.
She was tracking his phone.
But still.
Okay.
Tracking his phone straight out the door as he comes running.
Now, before we get to the apartment, I think the most interesting thing that comes out of this exchange, she's never dealt with his multiple personality, his DID, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
This is a mystery to her. Right. I think so either it developed late or he just hit it really well. I think there's a lot of mystery that they leave there, and I like it.
Yeah. No, he states at some point that he put a wall up between them and something happened.
Yeah.
So, between Steven and Mark.
Okay, anything else we want to hit before we get to the apartment? Okay. These guys have like insane amounts of notes, guys. They love y'all. They love y'all, all our listeners. I'm just saying. I do a page, and I'm pretty proud of myself. They have like pages. Okay, so let's go to Steven's apartment. Did anybody notice what the first thing Layla did was?
Straight to the fish.
Straight to the goldfish. There's something to the goldfish.
Yep.
Sorry.
On the goldfish. On the goldfish.
Okay.
His name is Gus. After sarcophagus.
You know what this is? You know what this is? You're reaching.
He loves Egypt history
that
and
was
everything.
Hilarious.
Come on. He loves Egypt and everything. Sarcophagus. Come on.
It makes me happy.
That's short.
That is the worst dad joke ever.
No,
you just won an award.
Fact.
You just won. You won the award for the worst dad joke.
I'm grabbing that when I come to
right there.
Come on now,
Nice.
That's my truth, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay, and then the other interesting thing, though, did everyone hear whose flat it is?
His mom.
It's my mom's flat.
They mentioned that in the first episode, right?
That it was his mom. I didn't know. No,
yeah, he says it.
I never caught that.
Yeah, on the phone when he leave it, one of the messages he leaves her, he says, "I'm taking care of your flat. Your flat is fine."
I want to know who the mom is.
We may see her.
Okay, wild fan theory is Mark in bed with Khonshu and Steven in bed with the other one.
I believe so. I believe they're warring over.
Does anybody else think that's a possibility? Just say yes or no. We don't have to dig deep.
I think I brought something like that up last episode.
Did you? Okay.
You did.
Well, it's been. I know it's been mentioned, but now it just really kind of solidified on this. I think it's interesting. Okay,
we can keep an eye on that. Absolutely.
Later, Gator.
Scene 5. The cops arrive.
Wait.
Before the cops? Okay, go ahead.
I think it's interesting to say that the poem that he's reading, the lines he says in French translate to "do not write." Yeah, don't even get started on the Mandarin. Do not write. I am sad and I want my light put out.
Oh,
I had to look up and see what it was.
Dark.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Quite
so literally. I had to look it up. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. He goes, well, that's not your favorite poet. That's my favorite poet.
Uh-huh.
So is Stephen a lot of Layla to compensate for the fact that knew he had to separate from Layla?
I think
Stephen was created to keep him sane, to keep his mind safe.
No, I agree,
sane.
but you see a lot of these things from Layla in Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, he could have absorbed part of her.
Well, part of DID is retaining some stuff from the other person's memories or, likes and whatnot from the other personality. So maybe, when Mark was with her as his wife and everything, she loved that poem, and this and that. And so as Stevens, for some reason, Stevens like, I love this. Why do I love this?
Yeah.
That's why he has feelings for her.
Yeah.
You can tell. He just doesn't know why,
Okay, so now let's get to scene 5. The cops arrive. This goes all the way into the new neighborhood. Okay, so I think it's an interesting play that Harrow's trying to be buddies with Steven, not Mark, with Steven, because he sees a difference in there.
Something about the cops.
Okay, go ahead.
Their names are Bobby and Billy. Those are the 2 orderlies who beat the hell out of Moon Knight in this version.
Say which one it is. Say which one it is.
This is the Lemire, Smallwood, and Belair graphic novel, which a lot of this show apparently is taken from. But yeah, Bobby and Billy are 2 orderlies. They're 2 men in the comic, and they beat the snot out of everybody in the asylum.
Now, there is one thing that I want. This one kind of blew my mind. I have not shared this with any of you guys. Okay, so Harrow says something. Says, I forgot the line he says, but he doesn't say right before he comes to the car. He doesn't say to him. He says it through the through the walkie-talkie.
Right.
Okay, so is it possible that Harrow is either another personality, and this isn't comic lore at all, this is just me speculating, or can he, because he was an avatar, can he jump into his mind?
No, I think he just used it through the walkie-talkie, but I think he also, because he was an avatar, he knows.
Did it?
Yeah, he had it in his hand.
Okay, well, that takes all the fun away. Never mind. But I don't like this anymore. You guys, this is stupid.
Is, because he used to be an avatar, he knows the tricks that Khonshu plays. So, I mean, that's probably where that comes from.
What a great conversation that they're having there, sitting at the table while he's like, what's he saying? Is he saying, kill me? Oh, what's he saying now?
Yeah.
And he says exactly what he was saying.
And his demeanor and everything, Ethan Hawke doing the thing, man.
Yeah.
The way he changed his demeanor and coming off like, you almost get there where you're like, I could warm up to this guy.
Well, and that's where I tend to think that the battle is going to be like, okay, well, do you switch to Amit? But if I switch to Amit, now my wife's going to be taken over by Khonshu, and there's even a battle there that I believe might take place.
I don't think that's. Yeah,
we're gonna hit that in a second.
I think Harrow's lying.
I don't agree.
I think he was ever an avatar of Khonshu.
He said, "Oh, I am justice." He said exactly what Khonshu would say at that moment.
Yeah, but he's also
if he's an avatar for another god.
If he's an avatar of Amit knows what he would say. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could be completely wrong. That's just my thought, and that's only because I know Harrow has never been an avatar.
But see, that's what hit me. I thought that it felt like Harrow doesn't lie. Everything that he said, even though the very disreputable, horrible parts, he doesn't lie at all.
I don't know if he doesn't lie, but I will say
I can understand that. I can accept that. I kind of did a little bit of that.
That the calm nature with which he approaches everything is terrifying.
It's disturbing, yeah.
Like, it is so disturbing. It's another brilliant acting choice, but like every inch of Hawke's performance is, there's such a calm, collected, cool nature about it, and it is just terrifying.
And what a great, like, it's gonna sound weird, but what a great like cult leader. Like what
Oh yeah,
exactly.
What he did is so
everything I look for.
What about babies? Would you kill a baby? And he goes into this long parable,
and he never answers,
and never really
he
answers.
did answer.
But it
not
was
really.
in such a peaceful, nice way that if you're sitting there not actually listening to him
in a roundabout way,
like,
he did.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
he kind of said basically if it justifies the means.
So here's the big thing I got from this conversation. Amit and Kanju, if you want to serve one of them, it comes down to the one question that everybody's had at some point in their life growing up.
Are we going to do this?
If you could travel back in time, yes.
Oh God.
If you could, I'm not going to make you guys answer. But if you could travel back in time, do you kill baby Hitler?
So Deadpool could
and
be
that, but that no, he would be Amit because he couldn't do it. Because that's why they're both evil. They're both good, but they're both evil. It's all a bunch of gray. Because should you kill? Are you a moral person for killing baby Hitler? Yes. Are you an immoral person for killing baby Hitler? Yes. This is why Khonshu and Amit are both scum. Because it depends on which philosophy you like more than anything. And they are evil. Khonshu, I really hate because of the I'm going to basically take away, if you don't serve me, if you're not going to be my slave forever, I'm going to take something, I'm going to make your life horrible by taking away somebody else's life. That's evil. I know you guys were, and I'll let you guys yell at me in a second.
It's in your opinion, though. Let's put it. That's not an opinion. Let's put it with. It is your opinion. It is your opinion. Because in my opinion, Khonshu is not evil, but he is not good either.
He's not good either.
He straddles both worlds.
No, yeah.
Amit is evil. That's just plain and simple. Amit is evil. Khonshu is neither. He is not good or he's not bad. He is, I think Kevin said chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah, or lawful neutral. Because
but he's chaotic in that sense.
What Khonshu does is he kills after the evil or the bad deed has been
the chance.
Perpetuated.
Yeah.
Amit kills before you can do it, and there is always a chance that you will not do that thing.
Yeah.
But she kills you anyway.
Are you going to, like you said, are you going to trust the judgment of
has it really been, but has it really been established that she doesn't see the future? I feel like
either way.
It seems like to me that she knows, so it's going to happen one way or the other, so she stops from happening beforehand.
But what we always know in the MCU is nothing is written in stone.
Right. Here's my
question.
question.
Not more now that the time police are gone.
My question on the whole scenario is when Nick Fury was developing the air carriers to
Project
look at the
Insight.
people's Project Insight, did you support that? Because that's kind of a myth, you know? It's kind of equal to admit, you know? We're going to look at their DNA. We know they're terrorists. We're going to take them out even years before they do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't. A lot of people said, "Hey, whoa, that's overreach. Go Cap." You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
kind of
that
the same scenario.
I'm not saying that Khonshu is the good guy and wonderful and happy and lovely and sprinkles and rainbows come out of his butt.
Actually, a jerk.
No, he's not evil. He's not good. But
he's only for his own.
Himself is neither good nor evil. Because Mark's a mercenary. Mark kills for money.
Yeah.
Now he kills for retribution.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's like it's all Moon Knight is all about duality, and we see it reflected in Moon Knight himself, but we also see it reflected in Khonshu.
Fair enough.
In my opinion.
That's fair. I thought this would be an interesting discussion anyway, because I know that we all don't. I see both of them as purely evil. I really do. Even though I am all about, punish the guilty, the ends don't always justify the means. And that's where it got ugly to me. That's where it got, with him saying, "Oh, you can leave, but you're not going to like my next avatar." That made me sick to my stomach. I'm like, this is evil.
Oh, well,
that's where his way of controlling Mark.
It's definitely more in Khonshu's favor.
It's an abusive relationship.
He's not good. It's an abusive relationship. I mean, basically, he has made Mark's personality split. Depending on your thoughts on which origin story, he's made his personalities split into 2 to possibly 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
he talks about
it's solely for Khonshu's goals, but is Khonshu trying to be actually evil, or does he just have his own goals? And that's where,
that's where the gray area comes in.
That's where the gray area is. Now, Amit, he's going around killing babies. You know what I mean? And so,
she's literally known as the destroyer of the dead, the eater of hearts.
That's how she gets her power.
Yeah, and in ancient Egyptian myth, you have to have your heart to travel to the underworld. If you don't have it, you're not going. Mm-hmm. So if she eats it, you're not going anywhere.
Okay, we got to move on from this. This is great discussion, but we got to move on from here. Okay, scene 6, summon the suit. This is
summon the suit.
Yeah! Now
I need a suit.
When they're running away, when they are running away, did anybody else notice that all of Harrow's people won't fight? They'll stand there and they'll block them, but they won't
watch
fight.
Yeah, Harrow doesn't either.
Everything's but because Amit says, then you would have done evil, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe.
So I think it's a very genetic predisposition right there. You're not going to fight.
But then they're watching whale videos.
I think that's what happened. But
laughing at the same time at whale videos and stuff. That was weird.
Well,
it's like Rick and Morty.
In the comic books, Harrow experiments on them all.
Oh,
like he does Nazi style experiments on his followers.
I know we moved on a little from that scene, but the lentil soup, it was kind of a nice nod because Victor, who had the lentil soup, he was from the Yucatan, and the Yucatan is where Harrow did his experiments in the comic. So it's kind of a nice little.
Dun, dun.
Well, and there's also Harrow mentions that he was I'm not the Fist of Vengeance anymore. That's a nod to Ghost Rider's team, Vengeance team, which Moon Knight was part of. And when he joined that team, he became the Fist of Vengeance.
And the little detail when he kicked that soccer ball, and you could hear the glass in his shoes.
Oh, yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Kind of horrible.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. I love it.
and then we get to see it. And this is when I got excited.
Anybody else waiting for those mummies in the Mad Magician's man cave to
oh, no joke.
come alive and attack people?
I was waiting for
we were all indoctrinated.
I was waiting for Brendan Fraser to come out.
Right. Like, where's Brendan Fraser when you need him? We love you, Brendan Fraser. Come on our show.
Come back. Okay, we'll talk about Doom Patrol, and I'll even say it was good. So the first suit we see is Mr. Knight. Now, my reading,
sticking the hero landing and then falling over like a dork.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So
but see,
funny.
in my reading, this is the Moon Knight that I like, or the whatever, the personality that I like, Mr. Knight. This is who I like. He is a lot more Batman, a lot more Detective Comics Batman.
Not this one.
No, this one I don't.
Not yet, anyways. Anyways.
I hope they fix him. But in the comics, he's like literally, he's quickly. As I'm going back and reading a bunch of old stuff, this is one of my favorite superheroes. All of a sudden, he's amazing. But I thought the suit looked so cool. It's like if it would have been a red mask, it would have been Deadpool, and it would have been perfect. I don't know.
It's hilarious though. It's like I need a suit. He shows up in a suit. Like we knew Mr. Knight was coming, but he shows up
Colonel
in a suit.
Sanders. That was my favorite way of describing it.
This is what I want to cosplay. I don't want to cosplay Moon Knight. I want to.
It's going to be massive at con.
Yeah,
you're going to see a lot of Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
I just like how confident all of a sudden Steven got just because he was wearing that fancy suit.
Oh my! He turned into Muhammad Ali all of a sudden.
Right.
Dancing.
Yeah. Well, in the comics, wasn't Mark like a boxer or something?
I think you're thinking of Daredevil's father, who was a boxer.
That's Murdoch.
I think
Matt Murdock.
I'll go back and look at it. I think I'm right. You're wrong.
Okay.
I may be. So
we'll
totally accept it.
Nobody on the show ever
I do
is
believe
100%
I heard something
on
about he's got
anything.
a prize fighter pass or something like that. But that's why the float like a butterfly thing came out.
So, like a bee.
And then Mark gets control, and you assume it's forever.
Wait. One quick thing. On the side of the bus that the Jackal throws Steven into, it references the GRC, which is the Global Repatriation Council, which is what we saw.
Yep. In Falcon
and
Winter
Winter
Give you a
Soldier.
little bit of a timeline.
Yep.
Connecting to other shows.
So, and then we see goes from Mr. Knight to Moon Knight when Mark takes over. And let's be honest, as I may not like the suit as much.
Oh, Jesus.
I may not like the suit as much, but that was some exciting fighting. I like to watch that.
I like it when he like pulls the. He's got
the
weapons like out of his
chest.
Oh, that was rad.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't cool. There was something that's so special about Mr. Knight. That's just
he'll be back. He'll be back.
He'll
definitely be back.
He's
definitely going to get more Mr. Knight back.
Yeah.
Do you think that the little crescent moon shaped piece of metal that's attached to his suit? Do you think that has he derives any kind of power through that?
No, that's a really good question.
With the shape of the moon, and what cycle the moon is how powerful he is. So he's actually more powerful on a full moon.
On a full moon,
right?
Yeah. So I mean, it could be.
I just, we got the scarab.
There's some jokes I could make right now that I'm not going to.
Yeah, something going with it.
Yeah, the scarab just points to her Ushati. Well, yeah,
ish.
Layla says it points to her Amit Subshati, which is really just the funereal figurines that they were buried with, which were supposed to represent the servants that they needed in the afterlife. It's not really the tomb, but
in the afterlife,
they would be buried in the tomb.
Since we brought up scarab real quick.
Well, I was just going to mention Hera has a scarab. Okay, and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good job, Layla. Just watch him take it.
She sitting there watching.
I know.
Sitting there.
Well,
they're not going to fight back, Layla.
She had to return that rent-a-scooter, So.
Right, I'm like, gotta get on my Vespa.
But yeah,
it is a weak moment.
Her husband is traversing the rooftops, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I gotta go get my Vespa."
Layla, I'm thinking that there might be something more to Layla than just a reimagining of Marlene from the comic.
I think you're right.
Her name is Layla El Faouli.
Yes, Al-Faal or something like that.
As in,
she's Egyptian.
Is very close to Mahomet Faoul, who ended up being Scarlet Scarab in the comic.
I don't think it's her,
they put an I on the end of his last name. I wouldn't be surprised. And also, funny enough, Twitter actually did a secret emoji thing when you put it in dark mode and you use Layla's hashtag.
I'm gonna check that out now.
When you put it on dark mode, you'll have to look up dark mode Moon Knight emojis or something.
Cool.
And I think Twitter removed it, but her emoji had a scarab that appears behind
scarab.
it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
maybe she is.
And
it's because they copied Blue Beetle, but I'm just kidding.
Right.
But I mean,
I'm wondering if there's more. She's kind of like a reimagining of Marlene, so she's a bit of a love interest, but she's also this daughter of this Muhammad, guy or something like that. There's and she derives some sort of power from the scarab later on in the series.
Maybe.
There's something more there.
Well, and I mean, in terms of that, you said Scarlet Scarab. It was covered in blood at one point in time, so it was a Scarlet Scarab.
Right. Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's more there for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost out of time, so I want to make one more comment, and then we can do wild theories for the next 3 minutes. Okay.
I got all night,
you may, but yeah. Okay. So again, this is Mark and Khonshu have that discussion, and this is when I was dead set. I hate you, Khonshu. I hate you. I hate you. Y'all can think different. I can't
You're
get past
entitled
it.
to hate it. It's fine.
I just can't get past
Nobody's
it
saying
at all.
you can't.
I think it's pretty gross. You should. He's definitely not the hero. You shouldn't be hoping that wins, but you don't want
the
to lose
anti-hero.
Okay,
that's why he's an anti.
And then where did they get the picture of Tyler on Friday nights in his underwear drinking Jack Daniels, upset and kicking mirrors?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. That I just wanted to set that one thing up, and then we're all.
But we talked a little bit. The reflection in the mirror. I think it's Steven because he's in an entirely different position. So like when you see him, he's sitting on the edge of the bed and he's covered and he's shaking. And then the camera pans down and we see Mark sprawled out drunk like a crazy man on the side of the bed. Like from
Tyler,
where Mark is sitting, like Tyler, from where Mark is sitting, we wouldn't see him at all in that broken mirror. So they clearly have had another psychotic break and they fought each other because that hotel room is also a disaster.
Oh my gosh.
Go for it, boys.
Yeah. And he's sitting in the mirror too, and his hands are bloody, you know.
They ended a fight.
The thing here's where we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. The thing with that is that locker room that he went into was immaculate, like a soldier would keep it.
Yeah.
Look at that hotel room. We haven't seen
yeah.
it, you know, and he's sitting there drunk. He's almost all the way through a full bottle.
Yep.
I think that might be Steven or Mark in the mirror, trapped in the reflection.
I think so too.
Steven doesn't have that temperament to be smashing things with his hands. You know what I mean? Also, in the first episode, who asked that chick out on a date to eat steak and whatnot? Because Mark loves his
Mark's
wife.
married.
Mark loves his wife.
Mark is married.
Steven is a vegan.
We haven't seen Mark as like a drunkard or anything that leans towards that.
Wow. Okay, I'm sold. I wasn't buying this before you just said that. You said that.
So
now I'm
wondering if we did in fact finally get some sort of third personality there.
Yes, I was waiting for Tyler. Like, do it, Tyler, tell us.
Yeah, because what is it? Lockley hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, there is another.
I didn't buy it until
Lockley.
this moment. At this moment, I'd finally buy it.
And because the boys and I were talking about this
didn't look
before.
That looks like Mark's posture, sitting on the bed in the mirror with bloody hands. You know,
and it's not really Steven's posture drinking the booze either. But I mean, the other thing is, and I mentioned this to Tyler and Kevin, because Kevin and I just did our rewatch right before we came to record. One thing I noticed is when Mark is talking to Khonshu, after he smashes the mirror and tells Steven he's going to stay away for a while, and he's, Mark is talking to Khonshu and he's saying, "I'll take care of it. It'll be okay. I'll pay my debt, blah, 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 blah." His voice is different. He has a different inflection. He has a different accent. And there is a slight, in my opinion, and I could completely be reaching and completely be wrong, but in his voice, there is a slight Brooklyn inflection. And Lockley is a taxi driver from New York.
New York. I wonder what Defender we could possibly see.
I don't know. There might be
their big skull there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
well, and it's like part of me thinks that like whenever they're traveling, like when he has to travel long distance, that they're using Jake Lockley. Because whenever, and then we're not going to know about it until the last episode.
And he's the rich one, correct?
Well,
no.
Jake Lockley
Steven's the rich one in the comics.
So they might switch him or something like that. Because where's all this money coming from? Where's all the travel expenses coming from? Teleportation is not one of Moon Knight's powers.
No.
Right.
And all of a sudden he goes, "Are you ready?" And then all of a sudden he's there.
He turns black and boom.
In a super nice hotel room.
And I believe Mark says to Khonshu, "We'll take care of it." He didn't say I'll take care of it. He says we'll take care of it. And I know we're supposed to believe that he means
stupid one's in control.
Him and Steven, but maybe he means him and Jake.
But
mean,
it
Crowley,
could be Scotty in this series.
But everybody, this might be nothing. Don't get hung up on this.
This is all spoilers.
On this. Don't get hung up.
Us just spitballing and talking. This is
we
don't have any proof of any of this. This is just what we're talking about. Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is Crowley, the guy who's the gold statue man guy, and he is Crowley. It's in the credits as Crowley. Crowley is Jake's
informant.
Friend. Yeah, he's Jake's informant. Duchamp is Mark's. We know he's listed in the phones. So I mean, he's not Steven. So I mean, there are
stuff for Punisher at one point,
clues.
By the way.
Yeah, I mean, there are clues of that third personality. So I mean, but
don't get hung up on it. If it doesn't happen,
right.
It might happen in the last episode. Don't fixate
we have a
on
theory.
That's what we did last week, though.
Yeah.
That's what we did last week. Don't fixate on a lot of this stuff. That's why we try to go through point at a time. Yep. Don't fixate on it because it's going to ruin it.
We had a theory for what would be a really cool end credit scene. I'm gonna let Tyler and Kevin.
Yeah. Okay, do it, and then we're gonna go out. So, what would you like for the end credit scene?
Theory I was wanting to talk about too.
Do it quick. Yeah, you got a minute.
Let's talk about why that was purple, Kevin.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about we have Kang that we know is down the way. We've seen He Who Remains. We think we're gonna see him. We know we're going to see him in the next Ant-Man movie. Think we're going to see him in the Multiverse of Madness. The way my mind works when everything's going on, I think it'd be really cool if we start seeing him in multiple MCU things just randomly pop up. Kang has a variant that is Rama Tut, who actually was in the past. He enslaved a bunch of the Egyptians, and so it would be great if we con the Rama Tut. Now, color purple are from different dimensions. They're we've seen a couple of different things. One of the places that we see purple is the castle at the end of time. And what happens if that compass is actually from Rama Tut, or Rama Tut's associated with Ammit? And we're following this compass, and all of a sudden we end up at the nexus of realities, which in the comic books is in Everglade, but it jumps in the MCU and Thor: Dark World. They say it jumps all over the place. Remember, he has the big board, and he's calculating on where it's going to be next. What happens if that takes us actually to the nexus of reality? And guess what happens in 2 days or 1 day after Moon Knight ends? Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. What would happen? You know what I mean? It's kind of, you got to squint a little bit at it, but it makes so much sense in my head, tying Moon Knight to Rama Tut to Kang to the castle at the end of time.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I was
excited about that one.
You've been waiting for that one, so yay.
Okay, we got to wrap. Well, next week we're going to bring in, as a side, everyone gets to bring in one Moon Knight comic that they think people should read so they understand what's going on a little better, or your favorite Moon Knight comic, because I think that's going to be important. I'm Dub. I'm here with Courtney, here with Kevin. We're here with Tyler. Go to the website, the Facebook, all that stuff. Comment, talk to us. We want to hear what you guys think of this stuff. Keep on geeking on, and we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.